France just sold every single ounce of gold it has stored in the United States, bought shinier gold in Europe, pocketed $15 billion in profit, and said, and this is a direct quote, "The decision was not politically motivated." This is the financial equivalent of moving out of somebody's apartment, selling their furniture on the way out, and calling it spring cleaning. I'm Elle. I have a PhD in computer science, and I use data analysis to spot patterns in geopolitics and economics, and the pattern forming right now is unlike anything in the modern financial system because it is not America's enemies pulling away from the dollar, it is America's closest allies, quietly, methodically, and apparently very profitably. To understand why this matters, you need a piece of history that most people skip over. After World War II, dozens of countries stored their gold at the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. The logic was straightforward. If Europe, God forbid, gets invaded again, at least the gold is safe across the Atlantic. America was the protector, the vault in Lower Manhattan was the safest place on earth, and that logic held for decades. But France actually started quietly pulling gold out of New York between 1963 and 1966 because French officials suspected the United States was running up too much debt and would eventually have to devalue the dollar against gold. Nobody listened back then, but they were right, and a few years later, Nixon ended the Bretton Woods system entirely. The gold standard was gone, so France saw it coming 60 years ago, and now they're doing the exact same thing, just with better execution and so much better margins. Between July 2025 and January 2026, the Banque de France executed 26 separate transactions to sell all 129 tons of gold held in New York. Some of those bars dated back to the late 1920s and no longer met modern international purity and weight standards. So instead of paying to ship nearly century-old gold across the Atlantic and refine it, France sold the bars on the American market at peak prices, then bought equivalent tonnage of newer, higher standard bullion in Europe at more favorable rates. No gold actually crossed the ocean. The whole operation generated roughly 13 billion euros in profit and turned a 7.7 billion euro loss in 2024 into an 8.1 billion euro net profit in 2025. Every ounce of French gold, all 2,437 tons, the fourth largest stockpile on Earth, now sit in an underground vault south of Paris. None of it is in the USA anymore. The French National Bank describes this as a routine technical upgrade. I'm sure it is. Now, here is where it gets structurally interesting. Germany still has 1,236 tons of gold sitting in the New York Fed, about 37% of its total reserves. Italy has 1,053 tons there, 43% of its reserves. Combined, that is roughly $245 billion worth of European gold sitting on American soil right now. Germany originally put its gold in New York to protect it from the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union has been gone for 35 years now. Germany is now worried about the country that was supposed to be protecting the gold, which is quite a plot twist for a security arrangement. Emanuel Munk, the former head of research at Germany's Bundesbank, told the financial newspaper Handelsblatt, I'm quoting here, "Given the current geopolitical situation, it seems risky to store so much gold in the US. In the interest of greater strategic independence from the US, the Bundesbank would therefore be well advised to consider repatriating the gold." Michael Jaeger, head of the European Taxpayers Association, was even blunter than this. "Trump is unpredictable and he does everything to generate revenue. That's why our gold is no longer safe in the Fed's vaults." And gold is just the surface layer. If you actually sit down with the IMF's coffer data, the trajectory is so stark. The dollar's share of global foreign exchange reserves has fallen from 71% in 1999 to below 57%, the lowest since 1995. That is not a blip. That is a 3-decade structural decline. And the piece most analysts gloss over is what triggered this acceleration. In 2022, Western governments froze $300 billion in Russian central bank reserves overnight. The intention back then was to punish Russia over the Ukraine war. The message every other central bank on earth received was basically your dollar reserves are only yours until Washington decides that they are not. If you're trying to make sense of these kinds of patterns, by the way, and see through official narratives, my book, Awake, the Practice of Critical Thinking in an Age of Self-Lies, is available as ebook and audiobook. Subscribers get 10% off and the first chapter for free in the description links below. The United States has imposed roughly 70 active sanctions programs affecting over 9,000 entities, more than the EU, United Nations, and Canada combined. Each one was designed to project American power, but the cumulative effect is that the dollar is now treated less like neutral infrastructure and more like a tool with conditions attached. A Deutsche Bank report recently found that while 90% of cross-border trade in the Americas uses the petrodollar, only about 20% of trade invoicing in Europe does. The dollar dominates in its own neighborhood and is losing everywhere else. So what is replacing it? Fantastic question. The architecture is actually already operational. China's cross-border interbank payment system, KIPS, now connects 4,900 banking institutions across 187 countries, processing roughly $270 billion per month. Saudi Arabia signed a $7 billion currency swap with China. In February 2026, 13 European countries formed Europa Alliance, partnering with the digital wallet Wero to build a continent-wide payment system that routes around Visa and MasterCard entirely. Wero already has 47 million users and covers 130 million people across 13 countries. We have a separate video analysis going in detail on that one. The continent that invented banking currently runs 61% of its card transactions through two companies headquartered in California and New York, and as the ECB's own committee chair warned, Washington can switch that off whenever it wants. Europe has decided it would rather not find out whether this is a bluff, and Canada is moving as well. Prime Minister Carney announced the Canada Strong Fund, a $25 billion sovereign wealth fund explicitly designed to reduce economic dependence on the United States. Carney's words were as follows: "The United States is changing and we must adapt." Canada is building a financial instrument specifically to insulate itself from its closest trading partner. That sentence would have been unthinkable just 2 years ago. If you've been watching this channel's playlist on how Europe is systematically decoupling from US dependence, energy, digital infrastructure, defense, this is the financial chapter, and it is accelerating faster than any of the others. EBC Financial Group analyst Souterraine framed the paradox very precisely. Washington cannot both weaponize the dollar system and maintain universal trust in it. These two objectives are in direct conflict. And then another quote: "The erosion is slow, percentage points per decade rather than per year, but it compounds." The prediction here is basically very straightforward. Germany repatriates its gold within 2 years, I think. France just showed them how to do it and make money on the deal. Italy is probably going to follow. The Europa payment system reaches critical mass by 2028, I think. The dollar, of course, does not collapse overnight, but it stops being the default anymore. It becomes one option among several. For a currency whose entire power rests on being the only option, that distinction is everything. The video on your screen right now looks at how Rubio flew to Italy to ask for help on the Iran war and came back actually empty-handed again. It connects directly to what is happening in this one. Thank you all so much for watching. Subscribe, and I'll see you all on the next one.